Okay, how's it going, everybody? So we're going to read some more Lenin today. This is a preface to the pamphlet documents of the, quote, Unity, end quote, conference. This is written in November 1901 by V.I. Lenin. Let's go ahead and get into this. In Iskra, number 9, October 1901, we told of the unsuccessful attempt to unite the section of the Zaira Iskra organization abroad. The revolutionary organization Social Democrat in the Union of Russian Social Democrats abroad. We have decided to publish the proceedings of the, quote, Unity Conference so that all the Russian Social Democrats may independently draw their own conclusions as to the reasons for the failure of the attempt at unity made by the organizations abroad. Unfortunately, the secretary of the conference, elected by the Union abroad, refused to assist in drawing up the minutes of the proceedings, as will be seen from his letter, quoted on pages 10 and 11 of this pamphlet, in reply to the invitation to him by the secretaries of the two other organizations. This refusal is all the more strange for the reason that the Union abroad has published its own account of the, quote, Unity, end quote, conference, two conferences, Geneva 1901. It would appear, therefore, that although the Union abroad desired to inform the Russian comrades of the results of the conference, it did not wish to acquaint them with the debates. We leave it to the reader to draw his own conclusions as to the possible and probable reasons for this unwillingness. After the Union abroad had rejected our proposal, we on our part did not think it desirable to publish a summary of the discussion that had not been drawn up jointly by all three secretaries. For this reason, we are obliged to confine ourselves to the publication of all documents and declarations submitted to the Bureau of the Conference. The Bureau consisted of the chairmen and secretaries of all three organizations, and all declarations were submitted to the Bureau exclusively in writing. Thus, there can be no doubt about the objectivity of a description of the conference which is based on the documents and declarations. On the other hand, the publication of all the documents and declarations presented to the Bureau is all the more necessary at the present time, since the Union abroad had crowned its strange refusal to participate in drawing up the minutes of the conference, with a still stranger method of drawing up the conference report. Thus, the Union abroad has not reproduced in full the interpellations submitted to the Bureau of the Conference by the representative of Iskra, Frey. In the name of the Iskra section abroad and the Social Democrat organization, but it did not reproduce the reply to the interpellations drawn up by the Union abroad, but not submitted to the Bureau, and not even read at the conference, two conferences, page 26. The Union abroad is mistaken in stating that the interpellation was withdrawn. The interpellation consisted of two questions submitted to the Union by Frey in the name of the two organizations. See page 6 of this pamphlet. Neither of these questions was withdrawn. Only the form was changed to turn the questions into a resolution which might have been submitted to a vote. The words, quote, does the Union abroad recognize in principle the resolution of the June conference, end quote, were altered to read, quote, the three organizations accept in principle the resolution of the June conference, end quote, etc. Furthermore, the Union abroad has not published the declaration of the Borba Group, which was presented to the Bureau. See pages 6 through 7 of this pamphlet. Not only has the Union abroad failed to publish the contents of the speech delivered by a member of the Borba Group after the Union had submitted amendments to the June resolutions, but it makes no reference whatever to the speech. In that speech, a member of the Borba Group who had taken part in the June conference spoke against the amendments of the Union abroad. The Union published the, quote, arguments, end quote, in favor of the amendments contained in a speech delivered at the conference by B. Krzyzewski, without, however, having presented them to the Bureau. In a word, having rejected our proposal for the joint drafting of a summary of the entire discussion. The Union preferred to publish only what it thought of advantage to itself and to ignore even some of the things that were presented to the Bureau. We do not propose to follow that example. We have confined ourselves to the publication of all the declarations and documents presented to the Bureau, with the bare statement as to the opinions expressed by the spokesmen of all the organizations represented at the conference. Let the reader judge as to whether the articles in Raboshai Dielo, number 10, and the amendments of the Union abroad have violated the principle that was the basis of the agreement drawn up at the June conference. Of course, we shall also leave unanswered the angry words that so profusely decorate the pages of the pamphlet of the Union abroad, including the charges of, quote, slander, or of having broken up the conference by leaving it. Such accusations can only raise a smile. Three organizations gathered to discuss the question of unity. Two agreed that they could not unite with the third. Naturally, there was nothing left for the two organizations but to explain their position and depart. Only those who are angry because they are wrong can characterize this step up as breaking up the conference. or designate as slander the assertion that the Union abroad wavers and questions a principle. As for our view of the controversial questions of Russian social democracy, we prefer not to confuse the issue with an objective report of the conference proceedings, in addition to the articles that have already appeared and will appear in Iskra and Zarya. We are preparing a special pamphlet on the urgent questions of our movement to be published in the near future. Okay, yes, this is a preface to the pamphlet documents of the, quote, Unity Conference. This is written in 1901 by V.I. Lenin. So, yeah, well, thank y'all for tuning in. You know, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Medium, all of these are Marxist. Hit me up there. Y'all have a great day. And